If we are okay with any outcome, there isn't anything to fear.
Right.
One of the things that we fear the most in relationship is the breakup. And we feel oftentimes that that will just kill us. I have learned the self-love and self-acceptance and value through that breakup. That was the most important lesson of my life. More we fear that temporary bond breaks, more we imprison ourselves into all sorts of constraints.
Right. Because what are you losing in the break? Like, what were you relying upon them to give you that you don't have?
Mm.
And how can you source that within yourself?
Oh, yes.
And then break up. It's not a breakdown, break up. It's up leveling you. You're going
Nice.
up. Everything is up. When you know that, you can sit back in it rather than be in fear about the journey itself.
We can only receive what we feel we deserve. If I don't feel deserving, if I don't feel like I'm worthy, I cannot receive it. Oftentimes, I won't be able to hear what other people are saying because I'm placing my own lack of self-worth in front of everything. And so then I can't really actually like feel into whether it's relationship, whether it's my relationship with myself, whether it's my life, etc.
I took on this story that there was something wrong with me. There was something broken. I was the black cloud. I actually felt bad for the people that they had to tolerate me. I pitied the world for having to tolerate me. There wasn't anything that anybody was going to say or do because it wouldn't have gotten through. I was always on a hunt to go and find what was wrong. And I found stuff because that's what I was looking for.
The manipulation that happens in relationships. And I will say manipulation positive and negative. So negative is already understood, I think, by most, is that being manipulated by someone and there's being a perpetrator, there's being a victim. But I want to also speak a little bit to positively manipulating, let's just say, as in, let's say, playing a victim. It's like, I'm the good guy, she was the bad guy, she messed it all up, it's her fault, basically. I also feel like it's a disservice to our soul's journey where we basically bypass the lesson. Hello, curious souls, and welcome back to another Awake and Aware podcast. Today, Tammy and I will go into the part 2 of the relationships. I know I mentioned at the end of the previous episode that we were going to talk about ego. However, we felt it was important to talk a little bit more about relationships and some of the intricacies that happen at the backscene of the relationship relating to the self and to others. And without any further ado, let's get to it. Welcome, Tammy, back again. We are lucky to have her back here. We're going to go again deeper into relationships. Thank you, Tammy, for being here. It's
Thank you
lovely
for
to have
having
you.
me.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the nature of relationships. And I like the idea that the humanity within us is really what struggles within the relationship, I feel. And so when we tune into knowing the self, knowing the soul that we have, the being in this loving state, there's a lot less of a judgment. There's a lot less issue with relationships. Answers to your questions will have yes or no. They will be a lot more clear than when you are thinking and calculating and logically trying to discern like what serves you, what doesn't serve you. So again, being in that state and being the human, obviously, is what we're here to do, to experience. But having that understanding of being a soul that is not separate from the source that we came from, that we are here from, that we are part of all the time. And so I feel that a lot of the relationship issues that we have in our lives stem from obviously that we feel insecure, that we feel inadequate somehow, and we are lacking for the reason that we feel separation in our mind. So because of that feeling of that separation from that source, I feel we end up in relationships perhaps that we didn't want to end up in, or that we end up alone, hoping we'll get a relationship that is some sort of almost like addiction.
Mhm.
Um, could you speak to that a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah. Yes, everything you said, so true. I think that the lack of clarity comes because there's layers. So there's layers of what other people do, what the relationships are doing. There's layers of how you feel about it, how what's happening externally in the other relationship. But when you are completely grounded and steady in the foundation of the relationship you have with yourself,
Mhm.
then from there, that love dissolves those layers. And from a loving state and perspective, we can discern what's theirs, what's ours, what is real and present. But when there's layers, we're further from accessing the truth that we hold within us if we haven't remembered yet that we are source, we are divine love. There's nothing to find, there's nothing to get to. The only time when we do that is when that separation, and the separation meaning there's something between us and that love. And if we make that something relationships, what that would mean then is that we would need to go and fix what those aspects of all relationships, we would need to go fix them first before we can be centered in love. But that's the opposite. It's center, ground yourself and have that foundation, and then the love does the work for you. There's nothing to go out and fix and solve and change everybody around us so that they behave the way we need them to behave and they say the things that we need them to say to us, so that then we know that we can go love ourselves now because they all went, like it's that loop, and you can't get out of it if you're in it, if that's your thinking. But
Mhm.
stop and stand still, know where you are, see where you are, and you're already where you need to be. I know we all say that, and it's written in so many books and it's quoted everywhere, but it really is the truth.
Yeah,
There
and
is
I
no
have to say,
separation.
for sure, there is no separation. The truth is very simple, and it's almost too simple that the mind doesn't want it. It's like the mind rejects the simple truth that is that you already are the essence of life that love is.
Mhm,
And as you pointed it out, with how the state of being is already present, and you don't have to go fix something, you don't have to go change something, you just become aware of it
mhm.
and allow
Yeah.
the presence of the love basically just fill you up. It's like you're
Mhm.
remembering it.
Yes.
And I love
Mhm.
that. So
Yeah.
is there something from your personal experience that you could speak to, if you're open to share, either relationship wise or with the self, obviously, or family, or anything like that that comes to
Mhm.
mind that might help us get some sort of an idea of, well, like, where did you get start to understand that the relationship with yourself is number one priority that will then help the relationship with the other?
Mm.
How did that show up in your life, whether it's with the, I don't know, family, like I said,
Mhm.
or mhm.
Couple things come to mind. I mean, one thing that just came to mind is when I realized that I didn't feel any more loved when somebody showed me love. I
Mm,
still felt the same.
mm,
I was still chasing it because I didn't feel it for me. So I was chasing, well, when people act a certain way, or when life becomes another way, somehow something's going to happen to give me enough evidence for me then to love myself. And so, yeah, sure, we can all say there were experience where maybe, somebody said mean words to us, or somebody acted in a way or behaved in a way that okay, it hurt us, or it was, whatever the case might be. But when I was with people who were loving and praised me as a being, and of being loving and worthy of love. The switch didn't flip. Like it didn't turn a new page. It didn't give me a clean slate. I didn't then wake up and, oh, okay, now I can love myself and go out in the world and I'm worthy of now receiving love.
Mhm.
And so then it led me to look within more. And then
Mhm.
once I started looking within, now I started seeing things. And then the more I started to practice to focus on myself, what I was doing, and say, well, how you feel, Tammy, that's directly related to you. Nobody can make you, nobody can make you feel anything that you don't want to feel. And I started to find truth in that. And I started to talk to myself differently and show up differently for myself, and not like little things. I would, if I was doing something for myself, I would rush through that and get it done so that I was ready to go be available for somebody or enough people, so that then I was worthy, because then I went and did worthy stuff for somebody. So that was going to be it. And that,
Yeah, that's the trap, isn't it?
yes, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yep.
that, as you were saying, like I
Mhm.
would guess that for me at least that a lot of these kind of ways to deal with things in my life where if I please my parents, I'm gonna be safe, I'm gonna be in peace. I can live in peace. I will be
Mhm.
safe. And so, you started being people pleaser from very, very childhood. And
Yeah.
um, it's all about the environment around yourself to make it safe
Mhm.
for yourself because it doesn't feel that way. And if
Yeah.
it does feel that way, great. But if
Yeah.
mostly a lot of times it doesn't. So,
Mhm.
and this is where I feel like we lose that part of
Mhm.
ourself that is the essence, again, back to the essence that we all are. And one other thing that came to me as
Yeah.
you were talking also, my astrology reader actually told me this was before my quote unquote awakening. I wouldn't say that I wasn't awakened, just to a point.
Mhm.
But when I heard him say this first time, I didn't quite get it. And so
Mhm.
the sentence was, "We can only receive what we feel we deserve."
Yes.
And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. And I was thinking it, okay?
Mm.
But when I rewatched that a couple years later, when I already understood about my self-worth a little bit more, or a lot more,
Mhm.
let's just say,
Yeah. Mhm.
that sentence just rang completely differently. Like I actually like heard it. We can only receive what we feel we deserve.
Feel deserve.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I don't feel deserving, if I don't feel like I'm worthy, I cannot receive it. Oftentimes I won't be able to hear what other people are saying because I'm placing my own lack of self-worth in
Mhm.
front
Mhm.
of everything. And so then I can't really actually like feel into whether it's relationship, whether it's my relationship with myself, whether it's my life,
Mhm.
etc. So with this, then, life being a lot about relationships,
Yeah.
relating to the
Mhm.
self and to others. If you go back basically in your younger being, and as you were just saying also,
Mhm.
how did that feel to you? Did you feel some sort of a threat in being in threat being threatened really as a child often? And was that do you feel like a contributor to how you have then behaved in relationships that you created?
For me, I took on the story and then I really imprinted it. I took on the story that there was something wrong with me. There was something broken, wrong. I was the black cloud. So the pain that I felt, the discomfort, it was me. But it wasn't victimhood. Oh, they're making me feel that way. Like it was even very young. Like I didn't feel attacked. I actually felt bad for the people that they had to tolerate me.
Mm.
Like, so it was more like I pitied the world for having to tolerate me. Like it really, and there wasn't anything that anybody was going to say or do, because it didn't, it wouldn't have gotten through. My story was thick, and it was written, and it was firm. And so because what I did to try to solve that was I was always on a hunt to go and find what was wrong. And I found stuff
Yeah.
because that's what I was looking for. I could
Yeah.
always find things.
Mhm.
And if I found something that maybe wasn't wrong or wasn't good, or if I when I played softball and I did really well and I got praised and bumped up and I was strong and I was a good play, like it didn't matter, because even if I did, a game went and I did made some really good plays, or I did things that were me doing them physically, people witnessing them, the coach telling me, that was just a fluke. So anything good that was worthy and that was noticed, yeah, I just got lucky, or yeah, maybe I shrugged it off, and
Mhm.
I didn't give it any attention because I didn't feel worthy of it. And so I
Mhm.
just went out to find the problems and fix them. So
Mhm.
then I just kept finding new problems.
Mhm.
And it didn't come out of that loop. And to your quote too, is I want to add on to it, is that we'll accept what we feel we're worthy of in relationships,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
why, look, even in relationships where maybe your partner does say some things that are mean or hurtful, and that behavior, it's still, they're just being them. And it's not because they're mean people. They're just behaving from their pain, whatever is driving them. It's not about us. And again, we hear this all the time, but there's there is no attack. A Course in Miracles teaches us this. There's no attack. So if we're always attacking back every time we're uncomfortable, we're the ones that are keeping the battle going. Because if you don't attack back, then we're just going to always be in that loop, and
Yeah.
we're going to call that in, and we're going to choose people that meet us where we are. Because if we feel that way about ourselves and we feel separate, well, we're it would be so uncomfortable to be with somebody that was loving and kind and everything that we wanted. That would be so uncomfortable if we don't feel worthy of it, because now we got to go prove them wrong. I mean, it would just, it can't work together, And if I am the best gift to any relationship that I am in, if I am centered and grounded and taking care of me and this vessel, and going out into the world with the intention of being love and kindness and all the things that I consider valuable, to others and to the world, I am the best asset and gift if I'm doing that, because then I'm not going to slip into the codependency of trying to fix them or solve, or because I don't need to be worthy. So I can say, look, I'm not going to carry your stuff for you. I'm not going to hold your responsibilities, or, do things that are yours to do. But I'm grounded and I can hold space for you. So I can be here. I can be here to reflect. I can just be love. I can reflect love back to you if someone wants it. But I only do so if somebody wants it, because I don't have to do it to be worthy. So
Mhm.
it just positions me to be an asset in relationships, not, not the essence of what, somebody has to go out and prove to me that I'm worthy and lovable. It's gone from
Right.
the relationship.
Right,
Yeah.
because you are aware that you are worthy and lovable as you
Right.
are, because
Yeah.
you're part of that source. So if you have
Yeah.
that knowing,
Hmm.
everything else just becomes, it
Yeah.
just is what it is. Like you just said, it's just a
Yeah.
conversation in some sense.
Hmm.
What was the time for you when I don't want to say necessarily just like awakened again, but that
Hmm.
most people understand that term at this point, I think, is that when you came to understand who you are truly, like what your essence is, when was that point? Like what happened in your life when you realized that? Okay.
Yeah, and I think there were a lot of points, but I think if I were to pick a time that everything sort of funneled down and came into a, like, the big, everything came together
Yeah.
after my second brain surgery. I feel like I was offered something that the rest of the world doesn't get. Like, I got
Mhm.
an inside because um aside from just the pain, and I lost use of my arms for a little while, so aside from the mechanical, the way my body was,
Hmm.
my brain, I I lost a lot of memory, but it almost like it was almost like a clean slate, because one of the things that happened to me within my brain, the functioning was, it was it was it was hard to tell what was really true and really literally happening
Hmm.
and what was in my mind. Things were very distorted, and I
Wow.
was just in and out for a long time. And
Wow.
so I actually needed to consciously think about, okay, did this just happen today? Wait a minute. Or did this conversation just happen?
Mm.
And at the time, I had some relationships that weren't all that healthy. So what that means is there was conflict.
Yeah.
But in order to sort of live within the conflict, I needed to know, well, what's true? Did I really have that conversation? Did I dream it? Was something said? Did I say? So I needed to sit still and really listen
Mhm.
to what was within. Like, I only had my heart to go on because my
Wow.
brain wasn't working right. I couldn't trust my brain for the details. The only thing that I could tap into that was sure, steady, and didn't misguide me was my soul, was my heart, my soul, whatever the furthest, deepest extent we could tap into, like my being and how I felt. And so I
Mhm.
started to listen to how I felt rather than listen to conversations that might have been happening, or my brain. I listened to
Yeah.
my being, and
Yeah.
it just opened me wide open. And it was,
Mm.
it wasn't like a necessarily enlightening, happy time.
Mhm.
It was quite scary actually at first, because I felt like I had no touch on anything. I didn't have my finger on the pulse of anything. And
Mhm.
it was very vulnerable, because
Mhm.
I was completely, I couldn't drive. I mean, I couldn't feed myself for a while.
Right.
I was completely vulnerable in every way,
Yeah.
which, again, yeah, that would maybe say that makes it things more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only scary and frightening if I didn't tune into myself.
Yes.
So if I
Yes.
chose myself, it wasn't scary anymore because I could count on that. And little by little, and
Mhm.
that is really what kind of created that foundation of knowing trusting my inner
Mm.
guidance.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because you really had a probably quite a long opportunity to stay tuned with your soul because you couldn't remember things
Yeah.
and basically had to like re integrate your body back into this world kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so in that process, I suppose you were practicing daily, probably every moment. Every moment,
Yeah.
I would say, not probably not
It
exaggerated
was.
here. Yeah. So because being in
Yeah.
that kind of state where you can't necessarily move easily, where you can't speak
Hmm.
clearly, where you can't feed yourself, as you said,
Yeah.
those are the basic things that we all take for granted. And I feel like if you don't have that, what do you have?
Right.
And so it comes down again to your soul.
Yeah.
That's what
Hmm.
you always have. That's who you always are. And that's the essence. And it's just so beautiful. In the midst of the crisis, there's an opportunity.
Yes.
Always is. And I
Yeah.
love that the Chinese character for opportunity and crisis is the same.
Mm.
So it's fun to see. One other thing that I wanted to do is that if you could take us, maybe you spoke of the crash and what you have learned afterwards and how this has shaped your life. What
Mm.
happened before the crash? What led to the crash in some sense? Like who were you that you obviously your soul says no more of this. Who were you that you had to let go of? Uh,
Oh, um, my source was not enough. It wasn't even like, it wasn't even brought into the equation of being worthy to make decisions out into my life. That was what was broken.
Mhm.
Like the core of me, my being, who I am, that was the faulty, like the engine of the car. And so the vehicle can't move on its own, so I needed other people to tow me. If my car isn't running, then I need to call a tow truck, and I need to trust that tow truck to take my car where it needs to. And so everything was outsourced instead of insourced,
So well.
because that wasn't right. And so, to my point earlier, when you are grounded in the source that you are, you
Mhm.
can trust your discernment to make decisions about choosing relationships or whatever they are, with jobs, career, friends, vacation, anything that you're making a decision about.
Mhm.
You you just kind of, it's second nature. Because you can trust how you feel. But if you think that that's broken, your source of feeling, then you're always looking out there. And so you're not going to find it. Wayne Dyer tells a story. He uses the image of somebody outside, somebody that loses their car keys. They're standing out in the middle of the street. There's a street light, and they're underneath it looking for their car keys. And so somebody walks up and says, "Oh, hey, can I help you? What happened? Oh, I lost my car keys." Oh, okay. So the two people now are looking around out on the ground. And then finally the second person says, "Well, where were you when you lost them?" "Oh, I was inside." And
Mhm.
so, "Well, then why are you looking?" "Well, there's a light out here. So I came out where the light is to look for my keys." "Yeah, but they're probably inside because that's where you dropped them." But so if you're outsourcing and looking out there, you can't. And if you keep doing it, you're going to get more and more worn down, because you're running on a treadmill hoping to get somewhere.
Yeah. So basically, like externalizing instead of internalizing. And this is
Yes.
like one of the things I feel like a lot of us do, and we don't
Sure.
realize that we're
Mm-mm.
trying to grab onto something that isn't actually real. As
Yeah.
I mean, to the point, of course, it's real. Yeah, I have there's a plant, there's a wall, there's a TV. That's real.
Right.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
can touch my body, so I we take it as real. But the point I'm trying to bring is that internalizing something is like you have innate knowing
Yeah.
that a lot of us don't use nearly enough.
Hmm.
And had we practiced that a little bit more, perhaps, or been encouraged to
Hmm.
practice that, whether in school, whether by the parents, whether, from the
Yeah.
family, um, I think our life would have shaped up slightly differently at the same time, like we said before in
Hmm.
previous episodes, that we learn
Yeah.
through suffering, as well as through love. We learn through all of
Hmm.
this.
Yeah.
There's no bad experience per se.
No.
Experiences is something that soul is here to collect, and that's what it wants.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I want to touch briefly on this quote that you have written as a self-abandonment is the greater pain than the pain you stay to avoid.
Hmm.
Could you speak to that a little bit?
Well, the only one you're facing is you. There's nowhere else to look, nowhere to go. And for me, it was, it's one thing if you're saying, "Oh, my, you know, relationship, friendship, whatever it is, somebody that you love, you
Mhm.
feel like they abandoned you." So to feel like you've been abandoned by another person or rejected, they didn't show up, they weren't there for you, they didn't support you, whatever that abandonment feeling is that you feel and you perceive. When it's somebody else and you can say, "Oh, they didn't show up to my baseball game," or "I had a problem, I needed to talk, they weren't there," and you give the scenario of when you were abandoned, right?
Mhm.
You can sit in the feeling that you have, but it's about somebody else and what they did. When it's you, the pain of that, like, that you didn't show up for you. And then if you don't show up for you, how can you expect, desire, think, fathom that somebody else would? Like,
Mhm.
if I don't want to spend time with myself and be alone, but yet I want to call somebody in that wants to hang out with me and be with me all the time, well, like it doesn't work that way.
Hmm.
And so I I remember very often saying it to close friends that even now, if I have sadness over a relationship that's ended, or I look back on life in some way and I feel sad in the sense of like that feeling of being left out or left behind, or anything like that, for me, the pain of it is that it was me, that I left myself,
Hmm.
and thinking of myself as a little girl. And which, and the more when you really go in deep into inner work and do shadow work, but doing soul retrieval, that kind of deep stuff where you're actually journeying back and you're facing your younger self, like, it's to stand and imagine I'm an adult and I'm looking at 7-year-old me.
Hmm.
It's like, it's just it's so painful.
Hmm.
And but the good news is that you're also the one that can fix it. Like, you're the only one, right? The only one that can make you feel loved. The only source that you can get that love feeling from is yourself. So as much as it hurts, okay, I abandoned myself. Well, okay, but the good news is I can, in a moment of thought, show up and be there and feel that feeling of complete love. And I think it's the greatest feeling in the world. I don't think there's anything bigger than that. And I put that above even being a mother, because I'm more of an abundant, the essence of who I am is greater for my daughter when I am that for myself. So it comes in over parenthood. And that might, you know, sometimes, there's discussions about that, like for parents, right? Like, well, oh no, kids first. No, you first, because
Hmm.
you need to be the example to them. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your
Absolutely. Oh,
question.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great
Yeah.
points. Yeah. And one other thing to that I would say to the parenthood again is that yes, people may have a different opinion about that in sense that the child goes first, absolutely, but it kind of also depends on the stage of your life. Like when
Mhm.
when the child is like 2 months old, I mean, yes, you do need to keep yourself alive in order to keep the child
Yeah.
alive. That's still you are
Mhm.
first.
Right.
But outside of that, the child is first,
Mhm.
outside of that realm. So again,
Of
back
course.
to, I really think that it is personally as well as like if I'm not on par with my emotions, with how I feel, with
Mhm.
how I feel physically as well, with how I feel mentally sharp and all that, then I'm actually not contributing to bringing up my child. So
That's right.
in a best way that I could in some sense, right? So
Mhm.
I could play a devil's advocate here. That
Yeah.
sometimes we need the parents that we get, no matter
Yes.
what we have, who we have. So if we have a parent that's abusive, we needed that, okay?
Yep.
Our soul needed that, or maybe wanted that experience, okay? Maybe not needed, I don't know, but wanted
Yeah.
at the very least that
Agreed.
experience in order to grow, in order to learn something, right?
Mhm.
And so maybe you also wanted to have experience of unconditional love. So you would get yourself one parent that is, for lack of a better word, asshole, and another parent that is
Mhm.
completely loving. And this happens a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Then, of course, what happens also is that you get both, which is
Yeah.
really difficult. But
Right.
back to the self-abandonment piece is that if we aren't in this framework of our being, of our soul, everything else outside of that doesn't matter. It
Right.
really just
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And if we have that peace, if we feel like we are full, we are part of everything, we feel that we matter. Oh, you matter. There you go, your book.
Mhm.
Um, so if we
Yeah.
feel that we matter, then
Mhm.
everything matters. Not just because it starts with me again, going back to the external, internal, right? The
Right.
mind looks for something to connect to externally, to grab onto, to prove that I'm worthy, that I'm enough, or whatever it is,
Mhm.
right? Or that I'm not
Mhm.
bad, that I'm good person, a good child, whatever. But again, just turn a flashlight around and just look in within every time. This is where I have learned the most about myself. is
Yeah.
as long as I'm looking inside, I'm getting not good results. I'm getting results that are true.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was getting results that were a lot more, I would say, skewed maybe, and or just
Hmm.
untrue, really. Just perceptions that, yeah, just weren't true, just weren't real.
Yeah. Yep. It's like everything is here for us.
Hmm.
Everything, even
Hmm.
the hard stuff. And we're all responsible for how we receive stuff and for what happens after everything outside does, says whatever they do, and everybody's different. So I think of it like digestion, eating.
Hmm.
I'm responsible for how my body receives food.
Hmm.
And if I'm going to demand that no, I should that person can eat that and be okay, so I'm going to eat it and be okay.
Hmm.
No, it's me. I'm the only one that's going to feel it.
Hmm.
And if I eat something, if I can't eat gluten. Well, if I eat it, I'm going to get sick. So
Hmm.
I can complain about it and say, "Oh, I'm a victim and it's not fair and other people can eat it and I can't and I love." Well, okay, go ahead, eat it and you're going to get
Yeah,
sick. But if you
yeah.
want to be well and you want to feel good, then pay attention to your body. And that goes for everything. That goes for emotionally, everything's the same because we have to digest everything that comes in emotionally and physically.
For
And
sure.
I used to say too, with people in their pain stories, talking about, people that are, they're in pain and it's coming out of them as whatever it is.
Hmm.
And I wrote once that I was breaking my own heart living in somebody else's pain story with them, which is kind of to my point of like, I won't carry
Mm.
somebody else's responsibilities.
Mm.
I'll stay here and I'll be loving, I'll be supportive in the realms of which I'm healthy. I won't be a target. I won't, I'm not going to take hits for people, but I'll show up and be there.
Hmm.
But if I'm going to jump into their story with them, then I'm the one breaking my heart then, not them.
Right, then there's the self-abandonment again. And then question
Exactly.
would be what causes you to behave that way?
Yeah.
Where else it showed up in your life that you felt you had to act that way
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
save
And
someone?
right. And if I don't feel worthy and I'm choosing relationships and accepting, choosing and accepting
Hmm.
relationships that don't feel good to me because I'm choosing people that are in pain.
Hmm.
And so now I'm in the story because I've chosen to, and I'm in a story with somebody who's in pain, and their pain is coming out as anger and things that we could, everybody throws, throw around the toxic and whatever. No, they're in pain. But if I'm going to choose to stay there and I feel that that's what I'm worthy of, I will stay in that loop. I will be in pain until I see myself as worthy of something otherwise. Nothing's going to change. There's no good enough that you can be. There's no enough that you can do or enough love that you can be and nice things you can say. And it doesn't matter. You can, you know, keep the house clean and the kids can be all like everything can be perfect. But if the other parent that's coming home, if they're in pain, it doesn't matter how clean the house is. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter how nice the meal is. The pain is still there. And if you're choosing to stay there, and so for me, it was, I believe I didn't think that I was worthy of something else. And so, but if I was in a relationship this goes for jobs too. If I could, that was how I was going to gauge it. I was going to be worthy enough when I completed the mission of, well, no, it was really painful and all conflict, but then I came in and figured out how to be enough of whatever needed to happen. And then it became peaceful and loving. Then I was going to be good enough. And then I could go ahead and, love myself. And then I was worthy of better. So, it wasn't going to work until I stopped trying to make it work that way.
Yeah,
It's
and the
nobody
reason
else's
that
fault.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
nobody's fault. And the
Yeah.
reason that that kind of love doesn't work is because this is again where we collapse the essence of love that we already are with another
Mm-hmm.
person.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like when Peter Crone was saying that collapsing love with another person and feeling afraid and threatened that will lose their love and not survive.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, the experience of perception of loss of love, because love already is me
Yes.
all the time.
Yeah.
And so that can't go anywhere.
Right.
So the ego fears the loss
Mm-hmm.
because that's fictitious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Yeah.
that's just a beautiful quote that I was like, yeah, this makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Does. Yeah.
And then, of course, with the kind of a perception, if we are in that ego state, we end up manipulating.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if we could go into this briefly because that was I was curious of what your opinion is on this, the manipulation that happens in relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
I will say manipulation positive and negative. So negative is already understood, I think, by most, is
Mm-hmm.
that being manipulated by someone and there's being a perpetrator, there's being a victim, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to also speak a little bit to positively manipulating, let's just say, as in let's say playing a victim. It's like I'm the good guy, she was the bad guy, she messed it all up. It's her fault basically. Or I'm the good girl and he was the bad guy and it just it wasn't right for me and so poor me. Because a lot of people, a lot of us, because of our humanity, I feel recognize that and want to be compassionate with that, which is lovely and I think is very
Mm-hmm.
needed. And I also feel like it's a disservice to our
Mm-hmm.
soul's journey, where we basically bypass the lesson in some
Mm-hmm.
sense. So if it's,
Mm-hmm.
I think people say spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
But again, it's the subtle thing because we end up manipulating positively at times where, for instance, again, as you were just saying yourself, is that keeping the peace, right? So I'm the good guy. I'm the one keeping the peace,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm doing everything outside of my life that I can to hold that peace. So again, I'm manipulating in some sense the situation that is there from positive perspective. So I'm the
Yep.
right one, they're the
Yeah.
wrong one, right? While as we were saying earlier, it's just they're doing what they're doing.
Yep.
I'm doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what comes to you
Yeah.
about
They're
about
just
the
being
choice?
them.
Yeah.
Like like you came into it and they're just being them, so you can't fault it. I remember a story came to mind as soon as you brought this up. I remember it specifically. Like I remember the shirt that I had on, and I
Mhm.
was with a therapist, and I remember when she told me that through my because I was just walking around in life like, well, I want everybody to love each other. So I wanted conflict to stop within the family, right? So my motive was love. Well, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. That's a great thing to be. And so that was my mission. And this therapist we're sitting there and she says, "Well, that's manipulation. You're manipulating them to be more loving so that you're comfortable. You're manipulating." And I was like, and I had a great, this was I had a great relationship with her. I trusted her. And it was like, because of the relationship I had with her, I
Uh-huh.
accepted it.
Oh, good
But
for
it
you.
was like being punched in the gut, thrown out of the car doing 90, and then being trampled by a herd of elephants. I was just like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it was having the, like, somebody used the word manipulation in relation to me,
Hmm.
that it was beautiful because it was so horrifying to me because it's the last thing that I would want to, like, I didn't want that word attached to me. I didn't want to be a manipulator. And so So even though my motive was love, that doesn't make it okay.
Mhm.
It's still manipulation. They are allowed, if that's how they want to carry on, who are you? And I sat with myself over that. Like, really, Tammy, like, who are you to tell people that they need to be more loving with one another? And it wasn't even about me, I was about how they were interacting with one another. So it wasn't even about them loving me more. I wanted them to love each other because there was just fighting and bickering and just it was just a lot of, that between them. So
Mhm.
not only was I manipulating,
Mhm.
I found it like okay that I decided that I'm important enough to go dictate that they should be loving with one another and they should behave a certain way. Who am I to, I'm not, it is not mine,
Mhm.
to go and so when I really sat and it was, um, you know, I talk with people often about like divine timing and what do you mean and how do you know? That was divine timing because I was ready to hear that. Because, and how do I know I'm ready? Because I took that and I went within and I
Mhm.
worked on me about it. I was ready to not go find another way to make that not make it okay. So I was ready to go on the path of looking within and taking full responsibility for me rather than the path of no, let me go figure out a way to prove it right, to prove that it's okay that I'm doing it. And
Mhm.
I was ready. And so it just, I mean, in this, I'm going back like 20 years and I remember it like it was yesterday. It
Mhm.
was one of those moments. And that was probably another big turning point just in terms of like self-responsibility, self-awareness. Cause, as you can imagine, it opened up like a lot of cans of worms and
Mhm.
brought me down some paths and it was not easy,
Mhm.
but thank God it wasn't easy because it made me look deeper and really look because I didn't want that feeling. I
Mhm.
didn't, it wasn't okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a really
Beautiful.
good point.
Oh gosh, thank you for bringing it up. That was I mean for sharing with us. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with your um with that experience, obviously that has changed your life also quite dramatically. I
Mm-hmm.
can imagine that was one of the points of shaping who you have become, and
Yeah.
sounds like pretty revelatory. I like to use that word.
Yes. Oh, yes. That word. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, so another thing I wanted to briefly touch on, this was inspired by my ex that I have mentioned last time in a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
of podcasts, and
Mm-hmm.
um, at one point she said, I wish people wouldn't call each other's exes and whatever. It's like what should we name each other as an ex person?
Yeah.
And she said, just call ourselves by names, you know, just show the
Yep.
humanity that we have. Doesn't matter that, you know, whatever happened, happened. Not holding grudges or anything. And if you are holding grudges, you know, sign up for some of our programs here.
Yes.
You
Yep.
know, talk to
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, talk to myself, talk to other
Mm-hmm.
people, you know, talk
Yep.
and really just to get through with that. So I want to just say thank you to my ex and to whom I will now refer as Miss Rose. And
There
I'm
you
not gonna
go.
disclose the first name. I'm just gonna disclose. I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
call that.
Mm-hmm.
She'll know.
Yes, that's
And so,
beautiful. She's so right.
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have X and you are not necessarily super thrilled with them, that's okay. You don't have to
Yeah.
absolutely love, adore them. But I mean, accepting, and again, back to what you were saying again, it's about respect. You know, so
Yes.
can I respect their reality of who they are, what they're doing? What
Mm.
grants me permission to say that I know what's right for somebody else? I
Right.
don't, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I was to share a
Right.
brief story from of my own, is that one time I was we were as the family were talking with amongst one another. It was pretty much most of the family in the room, and
Mm-hmm.
my dad was just being my dad. It's just you know,
Yeah, I
just
get it.
being being nippy and stuff to my brother,
Mhm.
and my sweet brother who's just like wouldn't hurt a fly kind of
Yeah.
thing, and just let himself be picked at by my dad. And at
Mm.
one point I just stepped in and I said, Dad, seriously, just stop. There's nobody was saying anything. My brother wasn't gonna say
Mm.
anything.
Yeah.
And I nitpick and I picked back at my dad same way that he was picking at my brother physically, like, just, doing that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he appeared hurt and left the room,
Mhm.
sulking, basically.
Mm.
And I went back and spoke with him and I said, okay, so I didn't mean to hurt you, but I couldn't just stand there and let you keep doing it. That's like so childlike. And
Yeah.
while I wasn't wrong, it wasn't my place. And so that I apologized to him for. I said,
Mhm.
you know, it wasn't my place to say stuff, even though I feel like
Yeah.
nobody was going to say anything, and everybody's just going to overlook it and just let you
Mhm.
be
Yeah.
seeking attention for while someone else is talking about something that they want to share.
Mhm.
So it being interruptive, basically. And so I just told him that I said, I'm sorry for snapping at you. That wasn't in my place, and realized my own, again, same as we were saying, my own righteousness in that, even though it was, positive in some
Mm.
sense, you know,
I would want to ask you if I may,
please.
did you ever stand up for yourself like you stood up for your brother? You did.
I
Okay.
have for myself, yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because yeah, sometimes I at times did the same.
Hmm.
But I was quicker to stand up for somebody else than myself,
Hmm.
which I've caught still.
Hmm.
I've witnessed myself do,
Hmm.
um, and found myself contemplating that.
Hmm.
Like someone else is worthy for me to go put myself, and I mean, and times I put myself in danger as a girl up against men.
Mm.
Like I would, um but I wouldn't stand up for myself. I would
Mm.
take it.
I will correct my answer briefly because while I do stand up often for myself as well, I didn't always.
Mm,
So, so you said,
yeah.
did I ever stand up for myself? Yes. But did I
Yeah.
always stand up for myself? No. But
Okay. Got,
yeah,
yeah.
there was a lot of opportunities I could have taken especially when I was younger, that I did not stand up for myself.
Yeah.
And there was also part of me, the humanity that, again, just like for yourself, you want to stand up for other people. And so, like when I was in elementary school, for instance, there was a new student, and I felt like they were left out, so I went and made friends with them. There was
Mm.
another one that came next year. I made with friends with them as well, and so we're friends till today. It's
Oh,
just one of those things that
yeah.
and there's literally 3 or 4 people, friends of mine, that I go see every year.
Mm.
Those two are them as well.
Oh, love that.
And it's just like,
Love that.
and again, like
Yeah.
you pointed it out, is that, do I always stand up for myself? I didn't always stand up for myself. But once I learned, again, back to self-value,
Yes.
learning this, that yes, I matter.
Hmm. Yep.
And one knowing that, just having that understanding, internally feeling that, remembering that whenever I don't, reminding myself of
Hmm.
that is
Yeah.
what brings me back to my driver's seat, I will say,
Hmm.
you know.
Yep. Yeah. I love that. That's yeah. And that's like we're proving the point of what we began with, because when you're grounded and centered in that love, when you're in that, from here looking at relationships of the past, when you look from a place of grounded self love and worth and value, all of that, and you're grounded in it, and you look, you only see the blessing. You
Hmm.
don't return to the pain like, no, I don't want to think about it because that's going to bring me back to the pain.
Hmm.
And so it's just another point of that being the starting point, is that self, because from there you're going to get the right answers. I now this thumb is going to keep coming up. I don't know how to make it stop.
There it is on the chest. Yeah, right there. See?
Like
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there is a setting that maybe we can figure out, but
Yeah, you're
I
gonna
think
have
it's
to figure that
hilarious
out
for
for
this
me.
podcast, so I may leave it there.
I'm giving myself a thumbs up.
That's
Oh
right.
gosh.
The universe
But
is giving you thumbs up.
yeah, yeah, there you go. But yeah, I love that, I love what you're saying. It's we can get all the answers when we look at our own relationships. We don't I mean, listen, reading books and taking courses and classes and talking, that's wonderful and we expand and grow, but there's a lot of expansion that can happen when we are willing to, from love, just a genuine love, humility, and truth, look at our own life. Our own life is holds the lessons and the textbooks of everything that we need to know. The stuff that we outsource, that we look to learn, and things that we do, that's on top of it. But we are the main source
Mm,
of all that we need and all that we are and where we're going. And I I would want everybody to know that,
hmm
and to know that like you have it.
hmm
You have it all. It's not about going out and getting better at something. It's about realizing that you are the source that can go look and then take the information in and then work with it and do what, but like you're the computer that you're bringing everything into to then go and create programs.
hmm
And so, but you're a worthy source of, you know, deciding all of what all of that is. We have it.
Yes, all the time. And this
Mm-hmm.
just brings me to my last point, I think that I wanted to make also a question coming out of that, hopefully, is that if we are okay with any outcome, there isn't anything to fear.
Right. Yes.
So really, if you're living in present moment and allowing people to be who they are, and then allowing yourself to process whatever you're processing, truly expressing what you're feeling, what you're emoting, what you're thinking about, allowing that expression, there is no issue really. And with that to tie to impermanence of life and
Mm-hmm.
uncertainty and impermanence of life, and as in its physicality, let's say it this way, because I feel personally that alive as a soul is eternal.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But then, of course, in this realm, as I often refer to, computer game, reality here is that everything is impermanent, so temporary, whichever way you want to phrase that.
Mm-hmm.
And from that perspective, I think that one of the things that we fear the most in relationship is the breakup. And we feel oftentimes that that will just kill us. And I have been on that boat myself, and it nearly did kill
Yeah.
me. But
Mm-hmm.
again, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So in that sense, I mean, I have learned the self-love and self-acceptance and
Mm-hmm.
value through that
Mm-hmm.
breakup. That was the most important lesson of my life. And I'm grateful to Miss Rose
Mm-hmm.
for that lesson. And it really was rough and it was tough. And again, more we fear that temporary bond breaks, more we imprison ourselves into all sorts of constraints that come out of that. So if that is there something that you can relate
Mm-hmm.
to in your life.
Yeah, like right, because if you look at it, what are you losing in the break? Like what were you relying upon them to give you that you don't have?
Mm.
And how can you source that within yourself?
Oh, yes.
And then break up. It's not a
Mm,
breakdown, break up.
mm, mm.
It's up leveling you. You're going
Nice.
up. Everything is up. If
Yeah,
you're setting an intention and you're living your life
yeah,
outward, meaning I am going to be the essence of love. I'm going to
yeah,
go out into life and everything that falls behind that, that's what I'm going to be.
yeah,
In the full trust that everything is here for me. There's
yeah,
nothing wrong.
yeah,
There are trials that come, yes. 100%, absolutely. And sometimes they're horrible,
Mm-hmm.
tragic,
Mm-hmm.
crisis, but it's for you. And if you can believe it's for you, that's the reserve tank of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's not just one gas tank for your journey.
Mm-hmm.
You have a reserve tank, but that reserve tank is the love that you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to carry you. And so
Mm-hmm.
you can, when you know that, you can sit back in it rather than be in fear about the journey itself,
Mm-hmm.
because then we miss it.
For
But it's all
sure.
here for us. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
even if you can't believe, for instance, let's say that you're in a stage of your life that you can't believe that it's something is happening for you in this. Like, how could this terrible breakup, how could this, it was love of my life, she left me, whatever, how could that be good for me?
Yeah.
At the very least, if you don't believe it, that it's good for you already somehow, it's happening for you, not maybe
Yeah.
maybe not good for you, maybe it's happening for you
Hmm.
rather than to you. Can
Yes.
you at least ask, how is that good for you?
Right.
To
Hmm.
be inquisitive in a sense of really curious, how is this actually good for me?
Yeah.
And it may come out first from perspective of like, okay, I'm pissed, which is okay.
Hmm.
Obviously, live the experience. You obviously needed it, wanted it, soul needed it, wanted it, and
Hmm. Hmm.
ask, stay curious. Like, what is it gonna bring? Like, how is your life going to improve because of this?
Yeah.
Ask that question into the ether and just see what you get.
Yeah.
If you can't
And
be
it's,
on the belief track, anyway.
yeah. And I like to reverse engineer things.
Hmm.
And if you're coming from love, then love's working on dissolving whatever isn't needed. So
Hmm.
when you're secure in that and you're grounded, then you know that that's like at work.
Hmm.
You don't see it happening, but you know that you're the essence of love. So that's at work, dissolving what isn't needed by you, is what does not serve your highest good.
Hmm.
Love dissolves it and clears the way. And so you're only left with what you need.
Hmm.
And so you trust love. Like when it's cold out and you turn the heat on in the house, you can't see it happening, but you feel warm.
Hmm.
So it's working. Okay.
Hmm.
So the heat's working, the heat is real and it's working. I consciously turned it on. I'm choosing it. So it's working. Then you can go about the journey of life and what you have to do and all of that. But you're only left with what is yours to do something with, because you're
Hmm.
trusting love to handle anything that isn't yours.
Hmm.
And so that faith, like that carries me. And so when I'm in something and, especially when it's more severe or more of a crisis or, uh, I might still be in it. It might be an injury. I might be in physical pain. My heart might be aching. I might feel like, but that from there though, I can ask like, okay, if it's a relationship that I'm letting go of any kind, a job, changing a job, anything, what was it giving me that I don't have or I won't have now that it's gone? And I believe that that's the only way I can get that thing, is only that person, because that's the only reason we have fear or that we're really hurt or scared and we have that reaction, is because I believe that the only way I can get that, I need it, I can't live without it. And the only way I can get that is from that person or that job or that
Hmm.
relationship. Okay, really? So I'm putting my life, my existence, I'm going to put that on another human. First of
Hmm.
all, is that fair to the other human, right? And am I really going to give all of my well-being and who I am and how I feel? Am I really going to turn that over to somebody
Hmm.
and trust somebody else to know? And so, of course, any of us are going to say, "Well, no," right? If we're once we're in that, right? The answer is going to be no. Okay. Now it's not like, all right, well, bury my head because, oh, now I'm just a mess because I did that. Okay, now look, what is it? How can I source that? And of course, if it's a relationship, a marriage, and an intimate relationship, well, of course, then there's the other components, like this other human that I enjoy spending time with isn't with me. So of course, that you can't source that. But In the meantime, you can take the time, like, okay, well, I know how I'm feeling right now, and this just ended.
Mhm.
Okay, what can I do now? What can I start doing? Thinking, how can I behave and pattern and um, be within myself so
Mhm.
that I'm more likely, if my desire is to be in a relationship and to have somebody and to be in a long-term committed relationship and be in another one, what do I need to do so that I can then be in the next one and be so free that I don't have to think about what they're doing. I don't have to rely upon them to be happy. I can just show up happy as myself, be happy on my own, and then come. And then, so now you just have two people. Now you have what
Yeah,
we, you know,
you're going from maybe 50% half the one, half the other to have 100. Now you're going to 200 maybe because you have 100 of yourself and 100 of the other.
yeah,
So now you
yeah,
have actually creation happening
yeah,
versus like maintenance or surviving.
yeah. Two halves don't make a whole,
No.
and two sickies don't make a welly. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, I don't know where I heard that from, but that's true, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
that's not, it's both at 100, then you rise together, but nobody's ever pulling somebody along, nobody's being drug, and nobody has to be stagnant for the other one.
Yeah.
When both are at 100, now you're sourcing one another just from being who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know it's not super straightforward for most people to, for
Mm,
instance, having lived in a long relationship for a long time, maybe have it kids together and maybe having a house together and maybe have,
mhm.
I don't even bank accounts maybe together or something.
Yeah.
It feels a lot to try to even untie that. So people oftentimes just stay in
Yes.
relationship and just like keep going because
Mhm.
that's just like what they've
Yeah.
been doing.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
being in that numb kind of numbing comfort versus stepping
Mhm.
into the role of taking responsibility for who you are in your life and recognizing that you are the movie maker of your movie, that you are the actor, the main actor that plays the main role in your movie.
Yeah.
Just stepping into that role and full on saying, "Hey, you know what? I don't know how we can detangle, detach, but I would like to." Okay, so
Mm.
that requires a lot of courage. And I know that a lot
Yeah.
of listeners are out there
Mhm.
who may feel that, and especially I feel our feminine population is that oftentimes becomes the relationship becomes compliance more so than
Oh,
actually,
yes.
yeah,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah, just out of
Yeah.
compliance, just staying there.
Yeah.
Which, is like I've spoken with some women before, and is saying it's like, what's holding in your relationship, and they will
Mhm.
say kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's sad, isn't it?
No.
And
Yeah.
what's holding him in relationship? I mean, if I divorced my husband, he would find me and beat me or something or kill me. I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts
Yeah.
of fears that we have that
Mhm.
are not allowing us to allow this relationship just disintegrate because it was created at some point. Like I said, everything is temporary. At some point, it disintegrates. Does it hurt? Hell yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. And a lot of times it is what needs to happen at that point. And it doesn't have to be bad. It can be
Yeah.
fun. I mean,
No. Yeah.
our personal breakup was difficult to begin with, but essentially or eventually towards the
Mhm.
end, it was very loving and it remained that way. So I have
Mhm.
not a bad thing to say. So, and
Because it was able to find the love that it began with.
exact.
Love will do whatever it's supposed to do,
Amen.
whether that means stay, go. Love is the timing,
Hmm.
it's everything.
Hmm.
And sometimes I'm always careful with my timing when I'm speaking with someone who's been the one that got left,
Hmm.
because it's important when you say this, but because I believe that everything is here for us,
Hmm.
often the one that was left needed to be away from that relationship,
Hmm.
but wasn't going to leave on their own.
Hmm.
It's not that the person that's left is left because they were wrong or bad. very often they were left and the other person was in, I don't like to use the word stronger here, but like strong enough to leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's always stronger to, sometimes it's mutual, but
Mm-hmm.
the stronger one,
Mm-hmm.
they were actually put there to end it because the other one maybe wasn't even aware of the level up that was there for them, that they wouldn't meet. They wouldn't reach it without the pain.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me too, like it's happened, like love knows best.
Mm-hmm.
And if we listen, and if we look at every situation through the lens of love, we will always see the blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Period. End of story.
Yeah.
That's that's all you have to do. You have to choose to look at things through the lens of love, and you
Mm-hmm.
will see the blessing, not the thing that you're cursing about it, like the pain of it.
Yeah.
The pain will be there. It's still a breakup. It's still a change. It's still a, this person's not there, or the job or whatever. Yeah, you're allowed to feel pain about that. It's not to say that like nobody should ever be, upset because there's a breakup. Of course, allow yourself to be human. Love
Yeah.
yourself through it.
Yeah.
Nurture yourself. But just be willing to let love guide you, and just take a peek. Just
Mm-hmm.
take a peek through that lens,
Mm-hmm.
and just give it a moment of just a little bit imagining.
Mm-hmm.
Be willing to just for a second think,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, maybe there is. Okay, I'm willing to see if there's something in here, something good. What
Mm-hmm.
is here for me? And you'll see it. It'll come, as you and I both know. Like it'll,
Show
you
up.
know. And
Mm-hmm.
the sooner that you look through the lens of love, the sooner you see where love's trying to get you to go, and like
Mm-hmm.
trying to nudge you towards.
Mm-hmm. Like you start realizing that it's already there and it's been just waiting for you to wake up.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I,
Sometimes the nudges are pushing you off a cliff, but it's okay. Like then
right,
your wings will come out and you'll fly. Like it's all right.
right, exactly. Just again, realizing that the universe, the love, the God, or the consciousness, whatever you want to call it, the
Yep.
divine power always has
Mhm.
you, always has your back. And I know we're kind of over time a little bit, and part of me wants to conclude, but my soul is tagging at me. There's one more thing to say. So
Okay.
I just wanted to add to this real brief because we've talked a little bit more about the relationships, and then sometimes it comes to term, and it's okay to separate and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to point out that it is not always necessary. It is
Mm-hmm.
often actually mostly it's the case that
Mm-hmm.
people end up separating, but it's not always necessary. I mean, there is a possibility that if you're interested and if the other person is interested in some sense to find some new ways in relating together,
Mm-hmm.
you can recreate your life. You absolutely can.
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
not, doesn't have to be end unless you choose to. If one person chooses the end, let's say the end of the relationship, then it's to
Mm-hmm.
be respected, I feel. But if there is another, if the other person, one person is interested in breakup and the other person says, okay, I'm okay with that, but would you be open to maybe changing, shifting our perspectives a little bit about one another and just looking at how we live at this point
Mm-hmm.
differently? Are you willing to entertain that and learn with me?
Yeah.
And if the
Mm-hmm.
answer is yes, I think there is a huge chance to continue the relationships and make it even better, like 2.0 kind of thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
really happen very often, but I just wanted to throw it out there because I think it is a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that it's an even yes, and I think it's even a greater possibility if you're only coming from love, right?
hmm
Because if you're saying, "Oh no, let's try," if that's coming from the
yeah,
fear of being left,
yeah,
right? Then no, it won't. And
exactly.
so again, it's always about like where we are, and but
Yep.
to your point, when you're grounded and you know that and you're grounded in that love, you're able to soul search yourself and say, okay, why do I want to? Do I really believe it, or do I not want to be alone? Do I really think that there's another way we can be?
Mhm.
and you can make that decision. And when you do, and if you're coming from love, yeah, it's laying the groundwork for it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's
So
a
fun,
great
so
point.
fun. Thank you
Yeah.
for all the perspectives, Tammy. Really
Yeah.
appreciate you being here again with us. And I don't know if there's another one on relations, so we could probably go forever. We'll think about that. But in the
Mm,
meantime, again, thanks again so much for being
mm.
here. It's
Thank you for having me.
yeah,
Yes.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm,
All right.
mm.
Take good care.
Yes, you too.
Thank you so much for watching, being here with us. And if you have enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, subscribe so you can get notifications about our next episodes. So stay tuned and we will see you very soon. Take good care.